Our person of the week this week is going to make you feel like an underachiever. Our township is full of creative, energetic people who are doing amazing things. Meet Janet Sadler, author of over 20 books. So I'm at the home of Janet Sadler, who is our local author extraordinaire. Janet, you write a lot of books.
Thank you. I do write a lot of books. I always have ideas. If it's not in one form, it's another.
So how did you get started writing your first book? And then we'll do a fast forward all the way to your most recent book. So how long have you been writing books?
I've been writing books since I was, I guess, in my 30s.
Okay.
Actual books that could be published, but I did them in screenplay form first.
Okay.
Of course, hoping to have a movie done.
To get Hollywood to pick you up?
To get Hollywood's attention, which is very difficult.
Yes, it is. I'm sure they get an awful lot of scripts every year.
They certainly do, and we almost got it. I wrote with another friend, and we almost had Shillings published as a movie.
Okay.
And it was Stanley Kramer's wife that saw the script.
Okay.
Stanley Kramer of Mad World's fame, and we almost got it off the table, and he died. And
oh boy!
So did our
that
screenplay.
Is kind of inconvenient.
Yes, it was
for everyone concerned, I'm sure.
That was that. So I'm still hoping to do movies.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be easier to publish books.
Well, we live in an interesting age, right, where you can publish, on your own. You don't even need a publisher, and the world has made that part easy. But then you still have to get people to know about your book. That's the hard part.
That's where I am.
Exactly.
That's where I am.
And if you hear meowing in the background, we have a special guest who's not on camera, but he's roving around making sure he can participate. So, how many books have you written?
I've actually written 25.
Wow.
21 have been published.
Wow.
And are on Amazon.
Okay.
And on my website, which is jnsadlerbooks.com.
Okay, I'll make sure to put that up on screen so people can see what it looks like. So that's excellent. So they're all up there. People can figure out which one they want as their summer reading this summer.
I think so, but I should make the caution, they are adult books. They're not for children.
They're not kids' books, okay.
And I would assume young adults, college students, and upwards would enjoy them.
Okay. And I was just perusing the titles. I mean, you cover a bunch of different genres, too. You don't just write one kind of book. I mean, what's the spread? I mean, what's the range of different kinds of books that you've written?
Well, the first book I actually wrote has not been published yet.
Okay.
That I saved till the end because I don't feel it's one of the better ones. But the romance, the winter romance, and I don't go heavily into romance, usually has some other attractions going along with it.
Okay.
Sci-fi is a curious thing that I get interested in.
I noticed that, yes. You had to...
And time travel. I have 2 time travel books.
Interesting. It always creates interesting conundrums in plotting, right? And I mean,
right.
I'm sure it's a lot of fun to kind of figure out exactly how you're going to have these people move through time and space and what that's going to trigger.
Yeah, and sometimes it triggers things that I'm not even aware of, which is, I have more fun writing than reading. So I wanted to write something that I would like to read.
There you go. And what is your process? How do you get inspired to write a book? I mean, when I first came in and we were setting up, you said that a name has popped into your head and you're trying to figure out who this person is. Is that typical? I mean, is that how this kind of unfolds for you?
Sometimes it is. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Now, the name Mortimer Washington came into my head, and I thought, well, he's got a story. I might
you just have to figure out what it is.
Chase him down and see what he's got, but that's not in the books. One of them, and I'll tell you as briefly as I can, entitled Neighbors, is I had the idea, I've seen certain characters on the street that you always see and you never know where they're going. They're always alone. So
this is how Havertown may sort of come into play.
Havertown is in this book.
Havertown is in this book, okay.
Although it's called Delatrobe.
Okay, well, so the names have been changed to protect the innocent or the guilty, as it were, you know.
The facts are elongated and out of whack, but I just thought to myself, now there's a character, he's retired, and he's living by himself with his obese cat, Bacchus, and he gets into some trouble with some kind of alien force, and So I carried that to the nth degree. There's a potential for a sequel. But
so it started locally, and it went.
Started locally.
It went off into a surreal kind of place, huh?
It did. It did. And
well, that's the beauty of fiction. You can go wherever your mind creates, right?
No one can disprove you.
Exactly. You can't be wrong, right? It's my imagination. I can't be wrong.
That's it.
It must be really annoying to write, true historical fiction, right? Because you kind of have to keep the facts in there, right? You can bring the plot in, but you have to at least, you can't really alter things. So fiction, it gives you a lot of freedom if you're going to be creative, right?
Yes, it does, and I enjoy it very much.
So what's your most recent book?
The most recent book, and if I may...
Absolutely. Let's do a little show and tell.
A little schmaltz. I'll hold it up.
There you go.
You can see it there. It's called The Garden Sphere. Mm-hmm. And Land Rovers, Solace and Abel, have readied the planet for the couple who have been chosen to start the new Earth colony on Mars.
Martian travel. Okay.
Yes, evolution has a hand in the outcome, and that's all I can say about it.
That's all you can say. You got to read the book to find out how it unfolds. But
it goes hand in hand with our interstellar arc that they're talking about today.
Well, it's very cool, right? Because there's a lot of talk right now about a mission to Mars and what that would take, and they even have volunteers who have already volunteered to go on this trip that has is still on the drawing board, right? So
I believe the stigma is they can't return.
Exactly. It is a one-way trip. So you have to be pretty dedicated to this cause.
Exactly.
But amazingly, they had an overwhelming number of people actually sign up, regardless of that fact that was prominently put into the application, I guess. But
it'd be interesting to see what they actually think when they get there and
yes.
go over their decision again.
That's right. I mean, planning for some hypothetical trip that might happen is probably a little different than saying, wait a minute, am I really doing this one-way trip?
I think so. I think so.
But I think people will do it. I mean, there are always adventurous souls out there who they want to sort of sail off and see if they're going to fall off the end of the earth, right?
Well, they will, and I guess it's a good thing they do.
Yeah, well, it creates progress, doesn't it?
We'll follow.
Well, it's wonderful to know that we have, great talents, working around the township. I mean, that's part of what this Person of the Week segment's all about, is just kind of meeting people and uncovering all these different facets of Haverford Township and all the interesting stories that are just below the surface. Because, we meet only a certain number of people walking the streets, and you see them, but you don't necessarily get to know. And
no, you don't.
I could have crossed you on the street a dozen times, and I would never have known that you have 25 books. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you came along.
Absolutely. Well, so thanks for being our Person of the Week on the Haverford7 show. If you guys are looking for some summer reading, I'll put that website up here on screen again. You can peruse the 25 titles, and that's just the books. We also have poetry. We have other things as well.
Poetry, and I just had an exhibit over at Regency Cafe in Lansdowne.
Oh, yeah, I love that coffee shop.
Oh, yeah, it's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I had 27 paintings up there recently.
Ah, so you paint as well. Look at
this. Yes. If it isn't one, it spills into something else, so I'm always busy.
Absolutely. I guess, life does not get dull.
No.
Well, Janet, thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. And I'm so glad you're doing it.